meet again, in thunder, lightning, or in rain.
When the hurly-burly's done, when the battle's lost and won, that will be ere the set of sun.
Where the place?
Upon the heath, there to me with Macbeth.
I come, Grey Malkin.
Haddock calls, anon.
Fair is foul, and foul is fair. Hover through the fog and filthy air.
What bloody man is that? He can report, as seemeth by his plight, of the revolt the new estate.
This is the man who, like a good and hardy soldier, fought against my captivity. Hail, brave friend. Say to the king the knowledge of the broil, as thou didst leave it.
Doubtful it stood, as two spent swimmers that do cling together and choke their art. The merciless Macdonald, worthy to be a rebel, for to that the multiplying villainies of nature do swarm upon him. From the western isles of kerns and gallowglasses is supplied, and fortune, on his damned quarrel smiling, showed like a rebel's whore. But all's too weak, for brave Macbeth, well he deserves that name, disdaining fortune with his brandished steel, which smoked with bloody execution, like valor's minion, carved out his passage till he faced the slave, which ne'er shook hands with, nor bade farewell to, until he unseamed him from the nave to the chaps, and fixed his head upon our battlements.
O valiant cousin, worthy gentleman.
As once the sun begins its reflection, shipwrecking storms and direful thunders break, so from that stream whence comfort seemed to come, discomfort swells. Mark, King of Scotland, mark. No sooner justice had, with valor armed, compelled these skipping kerns to trust their heels, but the Norwegian lord, surveying vantage, with refurbished arms and new supplies of troops, began a fresh assault.
Dismayed not this, our captains, Macbeth and Banquo?
Yes, as a sparrow's the eagle, or a hare the lion. If I say sooth, I must report they were as cannons overcharged with double cracks, so they doubly redoubled strokes upon the foe. Except they meant to bathe in reeking wounds, or memorize another Golgotha, I cannot tell.
So well thy words become thee as thy wounds. They smack of honor both. Who comes here?
The worthy Thane of Ross.
What a haste looks through his eyes. So should he look that seems to speak things strange.
God save the king.
Whence camest thou, worthy Thane?
From Fife, great king, with Norwegian banners flout the sky and fan our people cold. Norway himself, with terrible numbers, assisted by that most disloyal traitor, the Thane of Cawdor, began a dismal conflict, till that Bologna's bridegroom, lapped in proof, confronted him with self-comparisons, point against point rebellious, arm against arm, curbing his lavish spirit. And to conclude, the victory fell on us.
Yes.
Great happiness.
That now Sveino, Norway's king, craves composition. Nor would we deign him burial of his men, till he dispersed, at St. Colm's Inch, $10,000 to our general use.
No more that Thane of Cawdor shall deceive our bosom interest. Go, pronounce his present death, and with his former title, greet Macbeth.
I'll see it done.
What he hath lost, noble Macbeth hath won.
Where hast thou been, sister? Killing swine. Sister, where thou?
A sailor's wife had chestnuts in her lap, and munched, and munched, and munched. Give me, quoth I, aroint thee, witch, the rump-fed Runyon cry. Her husband's to Aleppo gone, the master of the tiger, but in a sieve I'll thither sail, and like a rat without a tail, I'll do, and I'll do.
I'll give thee a wind,
Thou art kind,
and I another.
and I myself have all the other, and the very ports they blow, all the quarters that they know, in the shipman's card. I will drain him dry as hay, Sleep shall neither night nor day hang upon his penthouse lid. He shall live a man forbid. A weary 7 nights, 9 times 9, shall he dwindle, peak and pine. Though his bark cannot be lost, yet it shall be tempest-tossed. Look what I have.
Show me, show me.
Here I have a pilot's thumb, wrecked as homeward he did come.
A drum, Macbeth doth come.
The weird sisters, hand in hand, hosters of the sea and land, thus do go about, thrice to thine,
And thrice to mine.
And thrice again to make up 9.
peace.
The charms wound up.
So foul and fair a day I have not seen.
How far is it called to forays? What are these, so wild and so withered in their attire, that look not like the inhabitants of the earth, and yet are on it? Live you? Or are you aught that man may question?
Speak, if you can. What are you?
All hail Macbeth, hail to thee, Thane of Glamis.
All hail Macbeth. Hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor.
All hail Macbeth. Thou shalt be king hereafter.
Good sir, why do you start, and seem to fear things that do sound so fair? In the name of truth, are ye fantastical, or that indeed which outwardly ye show? My noble partner you greet with present grace and great prediction, of noble having and of royal hope that he seems rapt withal. To me you speak not. If you can see into the seeds of time and say which grain will grow and which will not, speak then to me, who neither beg nor fear your favors nor your hate.
Hail,
Hail, hail.
lesser than Macbeth, but greater.
Not so happy, yet much happier.
Thou shalt get kings, though thou be not. So all hail Macbeth and Banquo.
Banquo and Macbeth, all hail.
Stay, you imperfect speakers. Tell me more. By my father's death, I know I am Thane of Glamis, but how of Cawdor? Say from whence you owe this strange intelligence. Speak, I charge you.
The earth hath bubbles, as the water has, and these are of them.
They had stayed.
Or such things here as we do speak about, or have we eaten on the insane root that takes reason prisoner?
Your children shall be kings,
You shall be king,
and Thane of Cawdor, too, went it not so?
to the self-same tune and words. Who's here?
The king hath happily received, Macbeth, the news of thy success. And when he reads thy personal venture in the rebels' fight, his wonders and his praises do contend, which should be thine or his. And, silenced with that, and looking o'er the rest of the self-same day, he finds thee in the stout Norwegian ranks, nothing afeard of what thyself didst make, strange images of death. Thick as hail came post with post, and every one did bear thy praises in his kingdom's great defense, and poured them down before him.
We are sent to give thee, from our royal master, thanks, only to herald thee into his sight, not pay thee.
And, for an earnest of a greater honor, he bade me, from him, call thee Thane of Cawdor. In which addition, hail, most worthy Thane, for it is thine.
What? Can the devil speak true?
The Thane of Cawdor lives. Why do you dress me in borrowed robes?
Who was the Thane lives yet, but under heavy judgment bears that life which he deserves to lose. Whether he was combined with those of Norway, or did line the rebel with hidden help and vantage, I know not. But treason's capital, confessed and proved, have overthrown him.
Glamis and Thane of Cawdor. The greatest is behind.
The
Thanks for your pains. Do you not hope your children shall be kings, when those who promised Thane of Cawdor to me promised no less to them?
That trusted home might yet enkindle you unto the throne, besides the Thane of Cawdor. But 'tis strange, and oftentimes to win us to our harm, the instruments of darkness tell us truths, win us with honest trifles, to betray us in deepest consequence. Cousins, a word, I pray thee.
This supernatural soliciting cannot be ill, but cannot be good. If ill, why hath it given me the earnest of success, commencing in a truth, I am Thane of Cawdor? If good, why do I yield to that suggestion, whose horrid image doth unfix my hair, and make my seated heart knock at my ribs, against the use of nature? Present fears are worse than horrible imaginings. My thought, whose murder is yet but fantastical, shakes so my single state of man, that function is smothered in surmise, and nothing is but what is not.
Look, how our partner's rapt.
If chance will have me king, why, chance may crown me, without my stir.
New honors come upon him, like our strange garments cleave not to our molds, but with the aid of use.
Come what come may, time and hour runs through the roughest day.
Worthy Macbeth, we stay upon your leisure.
Give me your favor. My dull brain was wrought with things forgotten. Let us toward the king.
Think upon what hath chanced, and at more time, the interim having waited, let us speak our free hearts to each other.
Very gladly.
Till then, enough. Come, friends.
Is execution done on Cawdor? Are not those in commission yet returned?
My liege, they are not yet come back, but I have spoke with one that saw him die, who did report that very frankly he confessed his treasons, implored your highness's pardon, and set forth a deep repentance. Nothing in his life became him like the leaving it. He died as one that had been studied in his death, to throw away the dearest thing he owed, as 'twere a careless trifle.
There's no art to find the mind's constructions in the face. He was a gentleman on whom I built an absolute trust. O worthiest cousin, the sin of my ingratitude even now was heavy on me. Thou art so far before, that swiftest wing of recompense is slow to overtake thee. Would thou hadst less deserved, that the proportion both of thanks and payment might have been mine. Only I have left to say, more is thy due than more than all can pay.
The service and loyalty I owe, in doing it, pays itself.
Welcome hither. I have begun to plant thee, and will labor to make thee full of growth. Noble Banquo, who hast no less deserved, nor must be known no less to have done so, let me enfold thee close to my heart.
There, if I grow, the harvest is your own.
My plenteous joys, wanton in fullness, seek to hide themselves in drops of sorrow. Sons, kinsmen, dames, and you whose places are the nearest, know that we will establish our estate upon our eldest, Malcolm, whom we name hereafter the Prince of Cumberland. Which honor must not unaccompanied invest him only, but signs of nobleness, like the stars, shall shine on all deservers. From hence to Inverness, and bind us further to you.
I'll be myself the harbinger, and make joyful the hearing of my wife with your approach. So humbly take my leave.
My worthy Cawdor.
The Prince of Cumberland. That is a step on which I must fall down, or else overleap, for in my way it lies. Stars, hide your fires. Let not light see my black and deep desires. The eye wink at the hand, yet let that be which the eye fears. When it is done, to see.
True, worthy Banquo, he is full so valiant, and in his commendations I am fed. It is a banquet to me. Let's after him, whose care is gone before to bid us welcome. It is a peerless kinsman.
They met me in the day of success, and I have learned, by the perfectest report, they have more in them than mortal knowledge. When I burned in desire to question them further, they made themselves air, into which they vanished. Whilst I stood wrapped in the wonder of it, came missives from the king, who all hailed me Thane of Cawdor, by which title before these weird sisters had saluted and referred me to the coming on of time, with "Hail, King that shall be!" This I have thought good to deliver thee, my dearest partner of greatness, that thou mightst not lose the dues of rejoicing by being ignorant of what greatness has promised thee. Lay it to thy heart, and farewell. Glamis thou art, and Cawdor, and shalt be what thou art promised. Yet do I fear thy nature. It is too full of the milk of human kindness to catch the nearest way. Thou wouldst be great, art not without ambition, without the illness that should attend it. But thou wouldst highly, thou wouldst thou holily, wouldst not play false, and yet wouldst wrongly win. Thou dost have great Glamis, that which cries, thus thou must do, thou do it. And that which rather thou dost fear to do, and wishest should be undone. Hie thee hither, that I may pour my spirits into thine ear, and chastise with the valor of my tongue all that impedes thee from the golden round, which fate and metaphysical aid doth seem to have crowned thee withal. What are your tidings?
The king comes here tonight.
Oh, thou art mad to say it. Is not thy master with him? Who were it so would have informed preparation.
So please you, it is true. Our Thane is coming. One of my fellows had the speed of him, who, almost dead for breath, had scarcely more than would make up his message.
Give him tending. Brings great news. The raven himself is hoarse that croaks the fatal entrance of Duncan under my battlements. Come, you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here, and fill me from the crown to the toe-top full of direst cruelty. Make thick my blood, stop up the access and passage to remorse. Let no compunctious visitings of nature shake my foul purpose, nor keep peace between the affected it. Come to my woman's breasts, and take my milk for gall, you murdering ministers, wherever in your sightless substances you wait on nature's mischief. Come, thick night, and pale me in the dunnest smoke of hell, that my keen knife see not the wound it makes, nor heaven peep through the blanket of the dark to cry, hold! Hold! Great Glamis, worthy Cawdor, greater than both by the all-hail hereafter, thy letters have transported me beyond this ignorant present. I feel now the future in the instant.
My dearest love, Duncan comes here tonight.
When goes hence?
Tomorrow, as he purposes.
Oh, never shall sun that morrow see. Your face, my Thane, is a book, where men may read strange matters. To beguile the time, look like the time. Be welcome in your hand, your eye, your tongue. Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. He that's coming must be provided for, and you shall put this night's great business into my dispatch, but shall, to all our nights and days to come, give solely sovereign sway and masterdom.
We will speak further.
Only look up clear. To alter favor, ever, is to fear. Leave all the rest to me.
This castle hath a pleasant seat. The air nimbly and sweetly recommends itself unto our gentle senses.
This guest of summer, the temple-haunting marlet, does approve by his loved masonry that the heaven's breath smells wooingly here. No jutty, frieze, buttress, nor point of vantage, but this bird hath made his pendant bed and procreant cradle. Where they most breed and haunt, I have observed the air is delicate.
See, our honored hostess. The love that follows us sometimes is our trouble, which still we thank as love. Herein I teach you how you shall bid God yield us for your pains, and thank us for your trouble.
All our service, in every point twice done, and then done double. We're poor in single business to contend those honors deep and broad wherewith your majesty loads our house. For those of old, and the late dignities heaped up to them, we rest your hermits.
Where is the Thane of Cawdor? We have coursed him at the heels, and had a purpose to be his purveyor, but he rides well, and his great love, sharp as his spur, hath helped him to his home before us. Fair and noble hostess, we are your guests tonight.
Your servants ever have theirs, themselves and what is theirs in compt, to make their audit at your highness's pleasure, soon to return your own.
Give me your hand, and conduct me to mine host. We love him highly, and shall continue our graces towards him. By your leave, hostess.
It were done when 'tis done, and 'twere well it were done quickly. If the assassination could trammel up the consequence, catch with his surcease success, but that this blow might be the be-all and the end-all here. But here, upon this bank and shoal of time, we jump the life to come. But in these cases, we still have judgment here. We that but teach bloody instructions, which, being taught, return to plague the inventor. This even-handed justice commends the ingredients of our poison chalice to our own lips. He's here in double trust. First, as I am his kinsman and his subject, strong both against the deed. Then, as his host, I should, against his murderer, shut the door, not bear the knife myself. Besides, this Duncan hath borne his faculties so meek, hath been so clear in his great office, that his virtues will plead like angels against the deep damnation of his taking off. Pity, like a naked newborn babe, striding the blast, or heaven's cherubim, horsed upon the sightless couriers of the air, shall blow the horrid deed in every eye. The tears shall drown the wind. I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, but only vaulting ambition, which o'erleaps itself and falls on the other. Oh, now, what news?
He has almost supped. Why have you left the chamber?
Hath he asked for me?
Know you not he has?
We will proceed no further in this business. He hath honored me of late, and I have bought golden opinions from all sorts of people, which would be worn now in their newest gloss, not cast aside so soon.
Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Hath it slept since? And wastes it now? It looks so green and pale. At what did it so freely? From this time, such I account thy love. Art thou afeard to be the same in thine own act and valor as thou art in desire? Would thou have that which esteemest the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem, letting I dare not wait upon I would, like the poor cat in the adage?
Prithee, peace! I dare do all that may become a man, Who dares do more is none.
What beast was it then that made you break this enterprise to me? When durst you do it? Then you were a man. And to be more than what you were, you would be so much more than man. Nor time nor place did then adhere. Yet you would make both. They have made themselves, and their fitness now does unmake you. I have given suck, and I know how tender 'tis to love the babe that milks me. I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nibble from his boneless gums, and dashed the brains out, had I so sworn as you have done to this.
We should fail!
We fail! But screw your courage to the sticking place. It will not fail. When Duncan is asleep, whereto his day's hard journey shall soundly invite him, his two chamberlains will lie with the wine, and wassail, so convinced that memory, the warder of the brain, shall be a few, and the receipt of reason a limbeck only. When in swinish sleep, their drenched natures lies in a death, what cannot you and I perform upon the unguarded Duncan? What not put upon his spongy officers, who shall bear the guilt of our great quell?
Bring forth men, children only. For thy undaunted mettle should compose nothing but males. Will it not be received when we have marked with blood those sleepy two of his own chamber, and used their very daggers that they have done it?
Who dares receive it other? As we shall make our griefs and glamour roar upon their death.
I'm settled, and bend up each corporal agent to this terrible feat. Away, and mock the time with fairest show. False face must hide what the false heart doth know.
How goes the night, boy?
The moon is down. I have not heard the clock.
And she goes down at 12.
I take this later, sir.
Hold, take my sword. There's husbandry in heaven. Their candles are all out. Take thee, mistress. A heavy summons lies like lead upon me, and yet I would not sleep. Merciful powers, restrain in me these cursed thoughts that nature gives way to in repose. Give me my sword. Who's there?
A friend.
What, sir, not yet at rest? The king's abed. He hath been in unusual pleasure, and sent forth great largesse to your offices. This diamond he greets your wife withal, by the name of most kind hostess, shut up in measureless content.
Being unprepared, our will became the servant to the fact, which else should free have wrought.
All's well. I dreamt last night of the three weird sisters. To you, they have showed some truth.
I think not of them. Yet, when we could entreat an hour to serve, we could spend it in some words upon that business, if you would grant the time.
At your kindest leisure.
You shall cleave to my consent. It shall make honor for you.
So I lose none in seeking to augment it, but keep my bosom franchised and my allegiance clear. I shall be counsel.
Could repose the while.
Thanks, sir. The like to you.
Thou sure and firm set earth, hear not my steps, which way they walk. For fear thy very stones prate of my whereabout, and seek to take the present horror from the time, which now suits with it. Whiles I threat, he lives. Words to the heat of deeds too cold breath gives. I go, it is done. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is a knell which summons thee. To heaven or to hell.
That which hath made them drunk hath made me bold? What hath quenched them? Given me fire? Hark! Peace. It was the owl that cried. That fatal bellman which gives the sternest good night. He is about it. The doors are open, and the surf-beaten grooms do mock their charge with snores. I have drugged their possets, that death and nature do contend about them, whether they live or die.
Who's there? What? Who?
Alack! I'm afraid they have awaked, and 'tis not done. It is the attempt, and not the deed that confounds us. I laid their daggers ready. He could not have missed them. Had he not resembled my father as he slept, I would have done it. My husband?
I have done the deed. Didst thou not hear noise?
I heard the owls scream and the crickets cry. Did not you speak?
When?
Now!
As I descended?
I,
Hark. Who lies in the second chamber?
Donalbain.
This is a sorry sight.
A foolish thought to say a sorry sight.
As one did laugh in his sleep, and one cried murder, that they did wake each other. I stood and heard them, but they did say their prayers, and addressed them again to sleep.
They are two lodged together.
One cried, God bless us, and amen the other, as they had seen me with these hangman's hands. Listening to their fear, I could not say amen when they did say, God bless us.
Consider it not so deeply.
But wherefore could I not pronounce amen? I had the most need of blessing, and amen stuck in my throat.
These deeds must not be done after these ways, so it'll make us mad.
Methought I heard a voice cry, Macbeth does murder sleep, the innocent sleep, sleep that knits up the raveled sleeve of care, the death of each day's life, sore labor's bath, balm of hurt minds, great nature's second course, chief nourisher in life's feast.
What do you mean?
Still it cried, sleep no more. Glamis hath murdered sleep, and therefore Cawdor shall sleep no more. Macbeth shall sleep no more.
Who was it thus that cried? Why, worthy thing, you do unbend your noble strength to think so brain-sickly of things. Go, get some water, and wash this filthy witness from your hand. Why did you bring the daggers from the place? They must lie there. Go, and smear the sleepy groves with blood.
I'll go no more. I am afraid to think what I have done. Look on it again, I dare not.
Infirm purpose, give me the daggers. The sleeping, the dead, are but as pictures. 'Tis the eye of childhood that fears the painted devil. If he do bleed, I'll gild the faces of the sleepy grooms with all, for it must seem their guilt.
Whence is that knocking? How is it with me when every noise appalls me? What hands are here? They pluck out mine eyes. Will all great Neptune's ocean wash this blood from my hand? No. This my hand will rather the multitudinous seas incarnadine, making the green one red.
My hands are of your color, yet I shame to wear a heart so white. I hear knocking at the south entry. Go, get some water. A little water clears us of this deed. How easy it is then. Your constancy hath left you unattended. Hark, more knocking! Get on your nightgown, lest occasion call us and show us to be watchers. Be not lost so poorly in your thoughts.
To know my deed, 'twere best not know myself. Wake Duncan with thy knocking. I would thou couldst.
Go!
Coming. Oh, my head. We were partying a little late. Hi! I am the porter.
the porter to the gates of hell, and I let in all the unfortunate souls that came through the door. Yeah? All right. Who's there? Oh, it's a stockbroker. Come in, stockbroker. Oh, what's that? Your stocks went up and then down, and you lost all your money? Oh, what's that? You hung yourself? Well, welcome to hell! Good thing you wore that scarf. You'll need it. You're gonna sweat down here. Yeah! Knock, knock. Who's there? Oh, it's a lawyer. Come on, lawyer. He was a good lawyer. He knew how to argue against either side of the case, either for or against. He could bend the truth a little. Well, I'll tell you what, lawyer, you can't bend the truth down here. Yeah? All right. Knock, knock. Who's there? Oh, look, it's Gordon Ramsay. Come in, Ramsay. He was a world-famous chef that took recipes from other guys and called them his own. That's crazy. Well, I'll tell you what, Mr. Ramsay, you can roast your goose down here, or should I say, your goose is cooked. Get it? Your goose is cooked. Come on, people. All right, all right. I'm coming. This place is too cold for help anyway.
Was it so late, friend, ere you went to bed, that you do lie so late?
Faith, sir, we were carousing till the second cock.
Is thy master stirring? Our knocking has awaked him. Here he comes.
Good morrow, noble sir.
Good morrow, both. Is the king stirring, worthy Thane? Not yet. He did command me to call timely on him. I have almost slipped the hour.
I'll bring you some.
I know it is a joyful trouble for you, but yet 'tis one.
The labor we delight in physics, Thane. This is the doing.
I'll make so bold to call, for 'tis my limited service.
Goes the king hence today?
He does. He did appoint so.
The night has been unruly. Where we lay, our chimneys were blown down. And as they say, lamentings heard in the air, strange screams of death and prophesying, with accents terrible of dire combustion and confused events, new hatched the woeful time. The obscure bird clamored the live long night. Some say the earth was feverish and did shake.
It was a rough night.
My young remembrance cannot parallel a fellow to it.
Oh, horror! 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 Tongue or heart cannot conceive nor name it.
What's the matter?
Confusion hath now made his masterpiece. Most sacrilegious murder hath broke open the Lord's anointed temple and stole thence the life of the building.
What is it you say? The life?
Meaning of his majesty?
Approach the chamber and destroy your sight with a new Gorgon. Do not bid me speak. See, then speak yourselves. Awake! Awake! Murder and treason! Banquo and Donalbain! Malcolm! Awake! Shake off this downy sleep, death's counterfeit, and look on death itself. Up! Up! And see the great doom's image. Malcolm! Banquo! As from your graves, rise up and walk like sprites to countenance this horror.
What's this business? This hideous trumpet that calls to parley the sleepers of the house.
Oh, gentle lady, 'tis not for you to hear what I can speak. The repetition in a woman's ear would murder as it fell. Oh, Banquo! Banquo! A royal master's murder!
Alas, in our house?
Too cruel anywhere. Dear Duff, I prithee, contradict thyself and say it is not so.
Had I but died an hour before this chance, I had lived a blessed time. For from this instant, there is nothing serious, immortality.
What is amiss?
You are, and do not know it. The spring, the head, the fountain of your blood is stopped. The very source of it is stopped.
Your royal father's murdered. Oh, by whom?
Those of his chamber, as it seemed, had done it. Their hands and faces were embashed with blood. So were their daggers, which, unwiped, we found upon their pillows. They stared and were distracted. No man's life was to be trusted with them.
Oh, yet I do repent me of my fury, that I did kill them.
Wherefore did you so?
Who can be wise, amazed, temperate, and furious in a moment, loyal and neutral in a moment? Here lay Duncan, his silver skin laced with his golden blood. There, the murderers, steeped in the colors of their trade, their daggers unmannerly breached with gore.
Help me! Help me!
Look to the lady.
Why do we hold our tongues, that most may claim this argument for hours?
What should be spoken here, where our fate, hidden in augur hole, may rush and seize us? Let's away, our tears are not yet brewed.
Nor our strong sorrows upon the foot of motion.
And when we have our naked frailties hid, that suffer in exposure, let us meet and question this most bloody piece of work to know it further. Fears and scruples shake us. In the great hand of God I stand, and thence against the undivulged pretense I fight of treasonous malice.
And so do I. And I.
And so do I.
So all.
Let us briefly put on manly readiness and meet in the hall together.
Well contented.
Well contented.
Well contented.
What will you do? Let's not consort with them. To show an unfelt sorrow is an office which the false man does easy. I'll to England.
To Ireland I. Our separated fortune shall keep us both the safer. Where we are, there are daggers and men's smiles. The near in blood, the nearer bloody.
This murder shaft the shot hath not yet lighted, and our safest way is to avoid the aim. Therefore, to horse, and let us not be dainty of leave-taking, but shift away. There's a warrant in that theft which steals itself when there's no mercy left.
$70 I can remember well, within the volume of which time I have seen things strange and hours dreadful. But this sore night hath trifled former knowings.
Ah, good father, thou seest the heavens as troubled with man's act threaten his bloody stage. By the clock 'tis day, and yet dark night strangles the traveling lamp. Is it night's predominance, or the day's shame, that darkness doth the face of the earth entomb, when living light should kiss it?
'Tis unnatural, even like the deed that's done. On Tuesday last, a falcon, towering in her pride of place, was, by a mousing owl, hawked at and killed.
And Duncan's horses, a thing most strange and certain, beauteous and swift, the minions of their race, turned wild in nature, broke their stalls, flung out, contending against obedience, as they would make war with mankind.
'Tis said they eat each other.
They did so, to the amazement of mine eyes that looked upon it. Here comes the good Macduff. How goes the world, sir, now?
Why, see you not?
Is it not known as done who's this more than bloody deed?
Those that Macbeth has slain.
Alas, the day. What good could they pretend?
They were suborned. Malcolm and Donalbain, the king's 2 sons, are stole away and fled,
which puts upon them suspicion of the deed.
Against nature still. Thriftless ambition, thou wilt raven up thine own life's means. Then 'tis most likely the sovereignty will fall upon Macbeth.
He is already named, and gone to Scone to be invested.
Where is Duncan's body?
Carried to Colmkill, the sacred storehouse of his predecessors, and guardian of their bones.
Will you to Scone?
No, cousin, out to Fife.
Well, I will thither.
Well, may you see things well done there. Adieu, lest our old robes sit easier than our new.
Farewell, father.
God's benison go with you, and with all those who would make good of bad, and friends of foes. Thou hast it now, King, Cawdor, Glamis, all as the weird sisters promised, and I fear thou playedst most foully for it. Yet it was said it should not stand in thy posterity, but that myself should be the root and father of many kings. If there come truth from them, as upon thee, Macbeth, their speeches shine, well, by the verities made upon thee good, may they not be my oracles as well, and set me up in hope. But hush, no more.
Here's our chief guest.
If he had been forgotten, it had been as a gap in our great feast.
Tonight we hold a solemn supper, sir, and I'll request your presence.
Let your highness command upon me, to the which my duties are with the most indissoluble tie forever knit.
Ride you this afternoon?
Aye, my good lord.
We should have else desired your good advice, which hath been both grave and prosperous in this day's council. Is it far we ride?
As far, my lord, as will fill up the time twixt this and supper. Go not my horse the better, I must become a borrower of the night for a dark hour or twain.
Fail not our feast.
My lord, I will not.
We hear our bloody cousins are bestowed in England and in Ireland, not confessing their cruel parricide, filling their ears with strange invention. But of that tomorrow, adieu, till you return again at night. Go splans, quickie.
Aye, my good lord. Our time doth call upon us.
We wish your horses swift and sure of foot. Farewell. Attend those men our pleasure.
They are, my lord, without the palace gate.
Bring them before us. To be thus is nothing, but to be safely thus. Our fears in Banquo stick deep, and in his royalty of nature reigns that which should be feared. He chid the weird sisters when first they put the name of king on me, and bade them speak to him. Then, prophet-like, they hailed him father to a line of kings. Upon my head they placed a fruitless crown, put a barren scepter in my grip, thence to be wrenched with an unlineal hand, no son of mine succeeding. For Banquo's issue I have filled my mind. For them the gracious Duncan I have murdered, put rancors in the vessel of my peace, only for them, and mine eternal jewel given to the common enemy of man, to make them kings, the seed of Banquo, kings! Rather than so, come fate into the list, and champion me to the utterance. Was it not yesterday we spoke together?
It was, so please your highness.
Well then, have you considered my speeches?
We have.
I am one, my liege, whom the vile blows and buffets of the world have so incensed that I am reckless what I do to spite the world.
And I another, so weary with disaster and tugged with fortune, that I would set my lie on any chance to mend it or be rid on it.
Both of you know Banquo was your enemy.
True, my lord.
So is he mine. And in such bloody distance that every minute of his being thrust against my nearest of life. And though I could, with barefaced power, sweep him from my sight, yet I must not. For certain friends that are both his and mine, whose loves I may not drop, and thence it is to your assistance I do make love.
We shall, my lord, perform what you command us.
Resolve yourselves apart. I'll come to you anon.
We are resolved, my lord.
It is concluded. I'll call upon you straight. Banquo, thy soul's flight, if it find heaven, must find it out tonight.
Is Banquo gone from the court?
Aye, madame, but returns again tonight.
Say to the king I would attend his leisure for a few words.
Madame, I will.
Naught's head, all spent. Were our desires got without content? 'Tis safer to be that which we destroy. By destruction dwell in doubtful joy. Now, my lord, why do you keep alone? Sorriest fancies your companions making, using those thoughts which should have indeed died with them they think on. Things without all remedy must be without regard. What's done is done.
We have scorched the snake, not killed it. She'll close and be herself, whilst our poor malice remains in danger of her former tooth.
Come on, gentle lord, sleep over your rugged looks. Be bright and jovial among your guests tonight.
So shall I, love, and so I pray be you.
You must leave this.
So full of scorpions is my mind, dear wife. Thou knowest that Banquo and his flayance lives.
But in the nature's copy not a turn.
There's comfort yet. They are assailable.
What's to be done?
Be innocent of the knowledge, dearest Chuck, till thou applaud the deed.
But who told you to join us?
Macbeth. He needs not our mistrust. We know what we need to do.
It's too late. There's no time to argue about it now. The sun is almost down. He will be here any minute.
I hear horses.
Give us a light then. Oh.
That must be him. Everyone else is already in the castle.
He is walking, though. Why isn't he on his horse?
They always walk when they come close to the castle.
I see a light.
It's him.
Stand to it.
It will be rain tonight.
Let it come down!
Slings! Treachery! Run, Clarence, run!
What happened? Where is the sun?
He has escaped. You idiot! I put it in Walltail.
He won't like this. Well, let's away and say how much is done.
You know your own degrees. Sit down, and at first and last, the hearty welcome.
Thanks to your majesty.
There's blood on thy face.
'Tis Banquo's, then.
'Tis better he without than thee within. Is he dispatched?
My lord, his throat is cut. That I did for him.
Thou art the best of the cutthroats. Yet he's good that did the like for flayance.
Most royal sir, Flayance escaped.
Then comes my fit again. I had else been perfect. But Banquo's safe?
Aye, my good lord, safe in a ditch he bides, with 20 trenchant gashes on his head, the least a death to nature.
Thanks for that.
My royal lord, do not good cheer. A feast of soul that is not often vouched. What 'tis making, 'tis given with welcome. To feed were best at home. From thence the sauce to meat is ceremony. Eating were bare without it.
Sweet remembrancer. Now good digestion wait on appetite, and good health on both.
May it please your highness. Sit.
Here be now our country's honor roofed, with the grace person of our Banquo present.
His absence, sir, lays blame upon his promise. Please it your highness to grace us with your royal presence.
The table's full.
Here the place reserved, sir.
Where?
Here, my good lord. What is it that moves your highness?
Which of you have done this?
What, my good lord?
Thou canst not say that I did it! Never shake thy glory locks at me!
Gentlemen, rise. His highness is not well.
Sit! Sit. Worthy friends, my lord is often thus, and hath been from his youth. One thought he will be well again. Are you a man?
I am a bold one. that dare look upon that which might appall the devil.
Oh, proper stuff. This is the very painting of your fear. This is the air-drawn dagger which you said led you to Duncan. Oh, these flaws and starts! Imposters to true fear. Will all become a woman's story at a winter's fire, authorized to buy her random. Shame itself. Why do you make such faces? When all's done, you look but on a stool.
Prithee, look, see there! How say you?
What? Quite unmanned and falling?
If I stand here, I saw him!
Aye, for shame.
In the olden time, when the brains were out, the man would die. And there an end. But now they rise again, with 20 mortal murders on their crowns, and push us from our stools.
My worthy lord, your noble friends do lack you.
I do forget. Do not muse at me, most worthy friends. Give me some wine. I drink to the general joy of the whole table, and to our dear friend Banquo, whom we miss, would he were here.
Our duties and the pledge.
Avaunt, and quit my sight! Thy bones are marrowless, thy blood is cold!
Think of this. Good Pierce, but it's a thing of custom. 'Tis no other. Only it spoils the pleasure of time.
Hence, horrible shadow, unreal mockery, hence!
You displaced the mirth, broke the good meeting, with most admired disorder.
Can such things be, which overcome us like a summer's cloud? And how can you behold such sights? Keep the natural ruby of your cheeks, when mine is blanched with fear.
What sights, my lord?
I pray you speak not! He grows worse and worse. Question only enrages him. At once. Good night. Go. Go!
Good night, and better help attend to Majesty.
It will have blood, they say. Blood will have blood. What is the night?
Almost at odds with the morning. Which is which?
I will tomorrow to the weird sisters. More shall they speak. For now I am bent to know by the worst means, the worst! I am in blood, stepped in so far that I should wade no more. The turning were as tedious as go over. Strange things I have in head, which must be acted ere they may be scanned.
You lack the season of all natures. Sleep.
Come, will to sleep. My strange and self-abuse is the initiate fear which once hard use. We are yet but young indeed.
Why, how now, Hecate? You look angrily.
Have I not reason? Bell-damned as you are, saucy and overbold, how did you dare trade and traffic with Macbeth in riddles and affairs of death? And I, the mistress of your charms, the close contriver of all harms, was never called to bear my part, nor show the glory of our art? And, which is worse, all you have done hath been but for a wayward son, spiteful and wrathful, who, as others do, loves for his own ends, not for you. But make amends now, get you gone, and at the pit of Acheron meet me in the morning. Thither he will come to know his destiny. Your vessels and your spells provide, your charms and everything beside. I
I am for the air. This night I'll spend unto a dismal and fatal end. Great business shall be wrought ere noon. Upon the corner of the moon there hangs a vaporous drop profound. I'll catch it ere it come to ground, and that distilled by magic sleights shall raise such artificial sprites, and by the strength of their illusion shall draw him on to his confusion. He shall spurn fate, scorn death, and bear his hopes above wisdom, grace, and fear. And you all know, security is mortal's chiefest enemy.
My former speeches have but hit your thoughts, which can interpret further. Only, I say, things have been strangely born. The gracious Duncan was pitied of Macbeth. Marry, he was dead. And the right thine Banquo walked too late, whom you may say, if it please you, Fleance killed, for Fleance fled. Men must not walk too late. Who cannot want the thought how monstrous it was for Malcolm and for Donalbain to kill their gracious father? Damned fact, how it did grieve Macbeth. Did he not straight in pious rage the two delinquents tear, that were the slaves of drink and thralls of sleep? Was not that nobly done? Aye, and wisely too. For 'twould have angered any heart alive to hear the men deny it. So that, I say, he has borne all things well. And I do think that had he Duncan's sons under his key, as it please heaven, he shall not, they should find what 'twere to kill a father. So should Fleance. But peace, for firm word words, and because he filled his presence at the tyrant's feast, I hear Macduff lives in disgrace. Sir, can you tell where he bestows himself?
The son of Duncan, from whom this tyrant holds the due of birth, lives in the English court, and is received of the most pious Edward, with such grace that the malevolence of fortune nothing takes from his high respect. Thither Macduff is gone, to pray the holy king, upon his aid, to wake Northumberland and warlike Stuart, that, by the help of these, we may again give to our tables meat, sleep to our nights, free our feasts and banquets from bloody knives, do faithful homage, and receive free honors, all which we pine for now. And this report hath so exasperate the king that he prepares for some attempt of war.
Sent he to Macduff?
He did, with an absolute, "Sir, not I." The cloudy messenger turns me his back, and hums, as who should say, "You'll rue the time that clogs me with this answer."
In that well might advise him to a caution, to hold what distance his wisdom can provide. Some holy angel fly to the court of England, and unfold his message ere he come, that a swift blessing may soon return to this, our suffering country, under a hand accursed.
I'll send my prayers with him.
Thrice the brinded cat hath mewed.
Thrice and once the hedge pig whined.
Hark your cries, 'tis time, 'tis time.
Round about the cauldron go, in the poisoned entrails throw. Toad that under cold stone, days and nights has 31. Sweltered venom, sleeping got, boil thou first in the charmed pot. Double toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldrons bubble.
Fillet of a fenny snake, in the cauldron boil and bake. Eye of newt and toe of frog, wool of bat and tongue of dog, adder's fork and blind worm's sting, lizard's leg and owlet's wing. For charm of powerful trouble, like a hell broth, boil
Fishes mummy, maw and gulp of the ravenous salt sea shark, root of hemlock digged in the dark, liver of blasphemer, gall of goat, and slips of hue silvered in the moon's eclipse, there to add a tiger's chaudron for the ingredients of our cauldron. Double toil and trouble, fire burns and cauldron bubbles. Cool it with a baboon's blood, then the charm is firm and good.
Oh, well done. I commend your pains, and every one shall share in the gains. Now round about the cauldron sing, like elves and fairies in a ring, enchanting all that you put in.
By the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes. Open locks, whoever knocks.
Now, you secret black and midnight hags! What is it you do?
A deed without a name.
I conjure you, by that which you profess, answer me, however you come to know it.
Speak.
Demand.
We'll answer.
Say if thou'st rather hear it from our mouths, or from our masters.
Call him. Let me see him.
Pour in sow's blood that hath eaten her 9 pharaoh. Grease that sweating from a murderer's gibbet. Throw into the flame. Come high or low, thyself in office deftly show.
Tell me, thou unknown power.
He knows thy thought. Hear his speech, but say thou not.
Macbeth, Macbeth, Macbeth. Beware, Macduff. Beware the thane of Fife. Dismiss me, no!
Thou hast off my fear, all right. But one word more.
He will not be commanded. Here's another, more potent than the first.
Macbeth, 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 be bloody, bold, and resolute. Laugh to scorn the power of man, for none of woman born shall harm Macbeth.
Then live, Macduff. What need I fear of thee? What's this? It rises like the issue of a king.
Listen, but speak not to it.
Be lion-mettled, proud, and take no care who chafes, who frets, or where conspirers are. Macbeth shall never vanquished be, until great Burnham Wood, to hide Dunsinane Hill, shall come against him.
Sweet boldness. Good. Rebellion's head never rise till the wood of Burnham rise. Yet my heart throbs to know one thing more. Tell me, if your art can tell so much, shall Banquo's issue ever reign in this kingdom?
Show,
Show.
show, show his eyes and grieve his heart. Come like shadows, so depart. Show his eyes and grieve his heart. Come like shadows, so depart. Show his eyes and grieve his heart. Come like shadows, so depart.
Thou art too like the spirit of Banquo. Down! Thy crown does sear mine eyeballs. Thy hair, thou other gold-bound brow is like the first. Third is like the former. Filthy hands! Why do they show me this? A fourth, another yet, a seventh, I'll see no more. And yet an eighth appears. Now I see, for 'tis true, for the blood-bolted Banquo smiles upon me, points to them for his.
Why stands Macbeth thus amazedly? Come, sisters, cheer we his sprites, and show the best of our delights. I'll charm the air to make a sound, while you perform your antiground.
Where are they? Gone?
What's your grace's will?
Saw you with the weird sisters.
No, my lord.
Came they not by you?
No, indeed, my lord.
I did hear the galloping of horse. Who was it that thus came by?
'Tis 2 or 3, my lord, that bring you word. Macduff is fled to England.
Fled to England?
Aye, my good lord.
Time thou anticipatest my dread exploits. From this very moment, the firstlings of my heart shall be the firstlings of my hand. The castle of Macduff I will surprise, seize upon Fife, and give to the edge of the sword his wife, his babes, and all unfortunate souls that trace him in his line. No boasting like a fool. This deed I'll do before this purpose cool.
What has he done to make him fly the land?
You must have patience, madam.
He had none. When our actions do not, our fears do make us traitors.
You know not whether it was his wisdom or his fear.
Wisdom. To leave his wife. To leave his babes. His mansion and his titles in a place from when he himself does fly. He loves us not. He wants the natural touch. For the poor wren, the most diminutive of birds, will fight her young ones in her nest against the owl. All is the fear and nothing is the love. As little is the wisdom where the flight so runs against all reason.
My dearest cuz, I pray you, school yourself. But for your husband, he is noble, wise, judicious, and best knows the fits of the season. I dare not speak much further, but cruel are the times when we are traitors and do not know ourselves. When we hold rumor from what we fear, yet know not what we fear, but float upon a wild and violent sea, each way and move. I take my leave of you. Shall not be long, but I'll be here again. Things at the worst will cease, or else climb upward to what they were before. My pretty cousin, blessing upon you.
Father he is, and yet he's fatherless.
I am so much a fool should I stay longer. It would be my disgrace and your discomfort. I take my leave at once.
Why, your father's dead. And what will you do now? How will you live?
As birds do, Mother.
With worms and flies?
With what I get, I mean, and so do they.
Poor bird, thou never fears the net nor line, the pitfall nor the gin.
Why should I, Mother? Poor birds, they are not set for. My father is not dead for your sake.
Yes, he is dead. Now how wilt thou do for a father?
Nay, how wilt thou do for a husband?
Why, I can buy me 20 at any market.
Then you'll buy him to sell him again.
Thou speakest with all thy wit, and yet, in faith, with wit enough for thee.
Was my father a traitor, Mother?
Aye, that he was.
What is a traitor?
Why, one who swears and lies.
And be all traitors that do so?
Everyone that does so is a traitor, must be hanged.
And must they all be hanged that swear and lie?
Everyone.
Who must hang them?
Why, the honest men.
Then the liars and the swearers are fools. But there are enough liars and swearers to beat the honest men and hang up them.
Now God help thee, poor monkey. But how wilt thou do for a father?
If my father were dead, you'd weep for him. And if he were not, it would be a good sign that I should quickly have a new father.
Poor prattler, how thou talkest. Bless you, fair dame. I am not to you known, though in your state of honor I am perfect. I doubt some danger does approach you nearly, but if you will take a homely woman's advice, be not found here, hence with your little ones. To frighten you thus methinks, I am too savage, but to do worse to you were foul cruelty, which is too nigh a person. Heaven preserve you, I dare abide no longer. Whither should I fly? I have done no harm. But I remember now that I am in this earthly world, where to do harm is often laudable, to do good often accounted as dangerous folly. Why then, alas, do I put up this womanly defense to say that I've done no harm? What are these faces?
Where is your husband?
I hope in no place so unsanctified as thou mayst find him.
He's a traitor.
Thou liest, thou shag-haired villain!
Who are you calling a liar, you little egg?
I am not an egg!
Small fry.
I am not a small fry, you liars!
You are
challenge you to a duel.
No!
He has killed me, Mother!
Let us seek out some desolate shade, and there weep our sad bosoms empty.
Let us rather hold fast the mortal sword, and like good men, bestride our downfall and birthday. Each new morn, new widows howl, new orphans cry, new sorrows strike heaven on the face, that it resounds as if fell to Scotland, and yelled out like a syllable of dolor.
What I believe, I'll wail. What no, believe. And what I can redress is I shall find the time to friend. I will. What you have spoke, it may be so, perchance. This tyrant, whose sole name blisters our tongues, was once thought honest. You have loved him well. He hath not touched you yet. I am young, but something you may deserve of him through me. Consider wisdom to offer up a weak, poor, innocent lamb to appease an angry god.
I am not treacherous.
But Macbeth is. A good and virtuous nature may recoil in an imperial charge, but I shall crave your pardon. That which you are, my thoughts cannot transpose. Angels are bright still, though the brightest fell. Though all things foul would wear the brows of grace, yet grace must still look so. I've lost my hopes. Perchance even there, where I did find my doubts, why in that rawness left you wife and child, those precious motives, those strong knots of love, without leave taking? I pray you, let not my jealousies be your dishonors, but mine own safeties. You may be rightly just, whatever I shall think.
Bleed, bleed, poor country! Great tyranny! Lay thou thy basest shirt, for goodness dare not check thee. Wear thou thy wrongs. The title is confirmed. Fare thee well, Lord. I would not be the villain that thou thinkest, for the whole space is in the tyrant's grasp, and the rich east to boot.
Be not offended. I speak not as an absolute fear of you. I think our country sinks beneath the yoke. It weeps, it bleeds, and each new day a gash is added to her wounds. I think withal there would be hands uplifted in my right, and here from gracious England have I offer of goodly thousands. But for all this, when I shall tread upon the tyrant's head, or wear it on my sword, yet my poor country shall have more vices than it had before, more suffer in more sundry ways than ever, by him that shall succeed.
What should he be?
It is myself I mean, in whom I know all the particulars of vice so grafted that, when they shall be opened, black Macbeth will seem as pure as snow, and the poor state esteem him as a lamb, compared with my confineless arms.
Not in the legions of horrid hell can come a devil more damned in evils to top Macbeth.
I grant him bloody, luxurious, avaricious, false, deceitful, sudden, malicious smacking of every sin that has a name. But there's no bottom, none, in my voluptuousness. Your wives, your daughters, your matrons, and your maids could not fill up the cistern of my lust. In my desire, all continent impediments would overbear that did oppose my will. Better Macbeth than such a one to reign.
Boundless intemperance in nature is a tyranny, and it hath been the untimely downfall of many kings. Yet do not fear to take upon you what is yours. You may convey your pleasures in a spacious plenty, and yet seem cold, the time you may so hoodwink. We have willing dames enough. There cannot be that vulture in you, as to devour so many, as will to greatness dedicate themselves, finding it so inclined.
With this, there grows in my most ill-composed affection such a staunchless avarice that, were I king, I should cut off the nobles for their lands, desire his jewels and this other's house, and my more having would be as a sauce to make me hunger more, that I should forge quarrels unjust against the good and loyal, destroying them for wealth.
This avarice sticks deeper, grows with more pernicious root than summer seeming lust. Yet do not fear. Scotland hath enough riches to fill up your will. Of your mere own, all these are portable, with other graces weighed.
But I have none. The king becoming graces as justice, verity, bounty, temperance, stableness, perseverance, mercy, lowliness, devotion, patience, courage, fortitude. I have no relish of them, but abound in the division of each several crime, acting in many ways. Nay, had I power, I should pour the sweet milk of concord into hell, uproar the universal peace, confound all unity on earth.
Oh, Scotland, Scotland!
If such a one be fit to govern, speak. I am as I have spoken.
Fit to govern? No, not to live. O nation miserable, with an untitled tyrant bloody scepter, when shalt thou see thy wholesome days again? Since the truest issue of thy throne, by his own interdiction, stands accursed, and does blaspheme his breed. Thy royal father was a most sainted king. The queen that bore thee, oftener upon her knees than on her feet, died every day she lived. These evils thou repeatest upon thyself have banished me from Scotland. O my breast, my hope ends here.
Macduff, this noble passion, child of integrity, hath from my soul wiped the black scruples, reconciled my thoughts to thy good truth and honor. Devilish Macbeth, by many of these trains, hath sought to win me into his power. But in modest wisdom plucks me from overcredulous haste. But God above deal between thee and me, for even now I put myself to thy direction and unspeak mine own detraction. Here abjure the taints and blames I laid upon myself for strangers to my nature. I am yet unknown to woman, never was forsworn, scarcely have coveted what was mine own, at no time broke my faith, would not betray the devil to his fellow, and delight in no less in truth than life. My first false speaking was this upon myself: what I am truly is thine and my poor country's to command. Whether indeed, before thy here approach, old Seward with 10,000 warlike men already at a point was setting forth. Now we'll together, the chance of goodness be like our warranted quarrel. Why are you silent?
Such welcome and unwelcome things at once. 'Tis hard to reconcile. My ever gentle cousin, welcome hither.
Good countrymen, welcome.
Thank you, my lord.
How stands Scotland?
Alas, poor country, almost afraid to know itself. It cannot be called our mother, but our grave, where nothing but who knows nothing is once seen to smile, where sighs and groans and shrieks that rend the air are made, not marked, where violent sorrow is modern ecstasy. The dead man's knell is there scarce asked for who, and good men's lives expire before the flowers in their caps, dying ere they sicken.
O relation too nice, and yet too true.
What's the newest grief?
That of Minara's age doth kiss the speaker. Each minute teems a new one.
How does my wife?
Why, well.
And all my children?
Well, too.
The tyrant has not battered at their peace?
No, they were well at peace when I did leave them.
Don't be afraid to speak. How goes it?
When I came hither to transport the tidings, which I have heavily borne, there ran a rumor of many worthy fellows that were out, which was, to my belief, witnessed the rather, for that I saw the tyrant's power afoot. Now is the time of help. Your eye in Scotland would create soldiers, make our women fight to doff their dire distresses.
Be it their comfort, we are coming thither. Gracious England hath lent us good seaward and 10,000 men, a better and older soldier none that Christendom gives out.
Would I could answer this comfort with the like. But I have words that would be howled out in the desert air, where hearing should not last.
What concern then? Is it the general cause, or a fee grief due to some single breast?
No mind that's honest, but in it shares some woe, though the main part pertains to you alone.
If it be mine, keep it not from me. Quickly, let me have it.
Let not your ears despise my tongue, which shall possess them with the heaviest sound that ever yet they heard.
I guess at it.
Your castle is surprised, your wife and babes savagely slaughtered. To relate the manner were, on the quarry of these murdered deer, to add the death of you.
Merciful heaven! What, man? Give sorrow words. The grief that does not speak whispers the o'erfraught heart and bids it break.
All my children?
Wife, children, servants, all that could be found.
And I must be from thence. My wife killed too?
I have said.
Be comforted. Let's make us medicines of our great revenge to cure this deadly grief.
He has no children. All my pretty ones? Did you say all? Oh, hellkite! All? What? All my pretty chickens and their dam at one fell swoop?
Dispute it like a man.
I shall do so, but I must also feel it as a man. I cannot but remember such things were that were most precious to me. Did heaven look on, it would not take their part? Sinful Macduff, they were all struck for thee. Not that I am, not for their own demerits, but for mine, fell slaughter on their souls. Heaven rest them now.
Be this the whetstone of your sword. Let grief convert to anger. Blunt not the heart, and rage it.
Oh, I can play the woman with mine eyes and braggart with my tongue. But gentle heavens, cut short all intermission. Front to front, bring forth this fiend of Scotland and myself. Within a sword's length set him. If he escape, heaven forgive him too.
This tune goes manly. Come, we go to the king. Our power is ready, and our lack is nothing but our leave. Macbeth is ripe for shaking, and the powers above put on their instruments. Receive what cheer you may. The night is long that never finds the day.
I have 2 nights watched with you, but can perceive no truth in your reports. When was it she last walked?
Since his majesty went into the field, I have seen her rise from her bed, throw her nightgown upon her, unlock her closet, take forth paper, write upon it, read it, afterwards seal it, and again return to bed. Yet all this in a most fast sleep.
A great perturbation in nature, to receive at once the benefit of sleep, and yet do the effects of watching. In this slumbering agitation, besides her walking and other actual performances, what at any time has she said?
That, sir, which I will not report after her.
You may to me, and 'tis most meet you should.
Neither to you nor anyone, having no witness to confirm my speech. Lo you, here she comes. This is her very guise, and upon my life, fast asleep. Observe her, stand close.
How came she by that light?
Why, it is by her side continually. 'Tis her command.
What is it she does now? Look how she rubs her hands.
It is an accustomed action with her, to seem thus washing her hands. I have known her to continue in this a quarter of an hour.
Yet, here's a spot!
Hark, she speaks. I will set down what comes from her, to satisfy my remembrance more strongly.
Out! Damn spot! Out, I say! 1, 2. Why then, 'tis time to do it! Hell is murky. By my Lord God, a soldier can fear. Yet, what need we fear who knows it? When none can call our power to account. Yet, who would have thought the old man to have so much
blood in him.
Do you mark that?
The Thane of Fife had a wife. Where is she now? What? Will these hands never be clean? No more that, no more. You more all with the starters.
Go to. You have heard what you should not. And she has spoke what she should not. I am sure of that. Heaven knows what she has known.
Yet, here's the smell of blood still. All the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten the smell of this little hand.
What a sigh there is. The heart within her is sorely charged. I would not have such a heart in my bosom for the dignity of the whole body. Well. Pray, God it be, sir?
This disease is beyond my practice. Yet I have known those who have walked in their sleep who have died holily in their beds.
Wash your hands. Put on your nightgown. Look not so pale. I tell you yet again. Banquo's buried. He cannot come out of one's grave.
Even so?
To bed. I hear knocking at the gate. Come. What's done cannot be undone. Take my hand. Take my hand to bed.
Will she go now to bed?
Directly.
Foul whisperings are abroad. Unnatural deeds do breed unnatural troubles. Infected minds to their deaf pillows will discharge their secrets. More need she the divine than the physician. Now, God forgive us all. Look after her. Remove from her all means of annoyance, yet keep close eyes upon her. Now, good night. My mind has mated and amazed my sight. I think, but dare not speak.
Good night, good doctor.
The English powers near, led on by Malcolm, his uncle Seward, and the good Macduff. Revenge is burn in men, for their dear causes would to the bleeding and grim alarm awaken the dead.
Near Burnham Wood shall we meet them. That way are they coming.
Who knows if Donalbain be with his brother?
For certain, sir, he is not. I will file all the gentry. There is Seward's son, and many unroughed youths that even now protest their first of manhood.
What does the tyrant?
Great Dunsany he strongly fortifies. Some say he's mad. Others that do lesser hate him call it valiant fury. But for certain he cannot buckle his distempered cause within the belt of rule.
Now does he feel his secret murders sticking on his hands. Now minutely revolts upbraid his faith breach. Those he commands only move in command, nothing in love. Now does he feel his title hang loose about him, like a giant's robe upon a dwarfish thief.
Who then shall blame his pestered senses to recoil and start, when all that is within him does condemn itself for being there?
Well, march we on, and give obedience where 'tis truly owed. Meet we the medicine of this sickly wheel, and with him pour we in our country's purge every drop of us.
Or so much as it needs to do the sovereign flower and drown the weeds. Make we march towards Burnham.
Bring me no more reports. Let them fly all. Till Burnham Wood remove to Dunsinane, I cannot taint with fear. What's the boy, Malcolm? Was he not born of woman? The spirits that know all mortal consequences have pronounced me thus. Fear not, Macbeth, for no man that's of a woman born shall ever have power upon thee. Devil damn thee, black, thou cream-faced loon. Where dost thou that goose look?
There are 10,000
Geese, villain!
soldiers, sir.
Go prick thy face, and overread thy fear, thou lily-livered girl. What soldiers, Wayface?
The English force, so please you.
Take thy face hence! I have lived long enough, and my way of life has fallen into the sere. The yellow leaf, and that which should accompany old age, such as honor, love, obedience, troops of friends, I must not look to have, but in their stead, curses, not loud but deep, mouth honor, breath, that which the poor heart would fain deny, and dare not.
Cousins, I hope the days are near at hand that Chambers will be safe.
We doubt it nothing.
What wood is this before us?
The wood of Burnham.
Let every soldier hew him down a bough and bear it before him. Thereby shall we shadow the numbers of our host and make discovery ere in report of us.
It shall be done.
We learn no other, but the confident tyrant keeps still in Dunsinane, and will endure our setting down before it.
'Tis his main hope, for where there's advantage to be given, both more and less have given him the revolt. And none serve with him but constrained things, whose hearts are absent too.
Let our just censures attend the true event, and put we on industrious soldiership.
The time approaches that will with due decision make us know what we shall say we have and what we owe. Thoughts speculative their unsure hopes relate, but certain issue strokes must arbitrate, towards which advance the war.
Hang out our banners upon the outward walls. The cry is still, they come! Our castle's strength will laugh a siege to scorn. What was that cry?
The queen, my lord, is dead.
She should have died hereafter. There would have been a time for such a word. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps at this petty pace, from day to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, out, brief candle! Life is but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Thou comest to use thy tongue, thy story, quickly!
Gracious my lord, I should report that which I say I saw, but I know not how to do it.
Well, say, sir!
As I did set my watch upon the hill, I looked toward Burnham, and anon, and methought the wood began to move.
Liar and slave!
Let me endure your wrath if it be not so. Within this 3 mile, may you see it coming. I say it, a moving grove!
I pull in resolution and begin to doubt the equivocation of the fiend that lies like the truth. Fear not till Burnham Wood come upon Dunsinane. And now a wood comes toward Dunsinane. Blow, wind, come, rack! At least we'll die with harness on our back.
Now near enough. Your leafy screens throw down and show like those you are. You, worthy uncle, shall with my cousin, your right noble son, lead our first battle. Worthy Macduff and we shall take upon us what else remains to do, according to our order.
Fare you well. Do we but find the tyrant's tower tonight, Let us be beaten if we cannot fight.
Make all our trumpets speak. Give them all breath. Those clamors harbingers of blood and death.
They have tied me to a stake. I cannot fly, but bear-like, I must fight the course. What's he that was not born of woman? Such a man I am to fear, or none.
What is thy name?
Thou'lt be afraid to hear it.
No, though thou callest thyself a hotter name than any is in hell, I will not.
My name is Macbeth.
The devil himself could not pronounce a name more hateful to mine ear.
No, nor more fearful.
Thou liest, a poor tyrant. With my sword I'll prove the lie thou speakest.
Murderous traitor! Thou wast born of woman. With swords I smile at, weapons laugh to scorn, brandished by man that's of a woman born.
That way the noises. Tyrant, show thy face. If thou beest slain, and with no stroke of mine, my wife and children's ghosts will haunt me still. Help me find him fortune, and more I beg not. Turn, hellhound, turn!
Of all men else, I avoided thee. But get thee back. My soul is too much charged with the blood of thine already.
I have no words. My voice is in my sword. Thou bloodier villain than terms can give thee out!
Loosest labor. I bear a charmed life, which must not yield to one of woman born.
Despair thy charm, and let the angels whom thou still hast served tell thee, Macduff was from his mother's womb, untimely wreck.
Cursed be the tongue that tells me so, for it hath cowed my better part of man. And be these juggling fiends, no more so believed, that palter with us in a double sense. I'll not fight with thee.
Then yield thee, coward, and live to be the show and gaze of the time. We'll have thee as our rarer monsters are. Painted on a pole and under it, here may you see the tyrant.
I will not yield to kiss the ground beneath young Malcolm's feet and be baited by this rabble's curse. Yet I will try the last. Before my body, I throw my warlike shield. Lay on, Macduff, and damned be him that first cries, hold. Enough!
I would the friends we miss were safe arrived.
Some must go off, and yet by these I see, so great a day as this is cheaply bought.
Macduff is missing, and your noble son.
Your son, my lord, has paid a soldier's debt. He lived but till he was a man, the which no sooner had his prowess confirmed in the unshrinking station where he fought, but, like a man, he died.
Then he is dead?
Aye, and brought off the field. Your cause of sorrow must not be the measure of his worth, for then it hath no end.
Had he his hurts before?
Aye, on the front.
Why then, God's soldier be he. Had I as many sons as I have hairs, I would not wish them to a fairer death. And so his knell is knolled.
He's worth more sorrow, and that I'll spend for him.
He's worth no more. They say he parted well and paid his score, and so God be with him. Here comes newer comfort.
Hail, king, for so thou art. There stands the usurper's cursed head. The time is free. I see thee compassed with thy kingdom's pearl, that speak my salutation in their minds, whose voices I desire aloud of mine. Hail, King of Scotland! Hail, King of Scotland! Hail, King of Scotland! Hail, King of Scotland!
We shall not spend a large expense of time before we reckon with your several loves and make us even with you. What's more to do, which would be planted newly with the time, is calling home our exiled friends abroad that fled the watchful snares of tyranny, produced by this dead butcher and his fiend-like queen, who, as 'tis thought, by self and violent hands took off her life. This, and what needful else that calls upon us, by the grace of grace, we will perform in measure, time, and place. So thanks to all, and to each one, whom we invite to see us crowned at Scone.